Would the economy improve? No. Rather, inflation skyrocketed. That was when they went straight to work. They said, no, we need to rebase this measurement. This is now to measure inflation. This is now to measure unemployment. You know what I mean? They started cooking their own book, starting with, inflation inflation will fall down back to 15% by 2025. How? As how now? Would you improve electricity supply? Would you improve the, Naira's supposed value? So you have to see something to say, okay, yeah, something's going to start coming down soon. But boom, the next thing they told us that unemployment, the measurement used for unemployment in Nigeria was wrong. That if you are in Nigeria, there are those who at least manages to get something done, whether they just clean people's car or wash somebody's car, or somebody asks them to help them paint a place. So if you are making up to like 1,000 naira a week or 10,000 naira in a month, you are not unemployed. You are employed in the TINUBU's new employment data. Boom. From nowhere. Nobody said they create anything. No. Unemployment in Nigeria dropped from 76% to 4.3%. That's what they are working with. Simply means that they have done so well. Go and check all the past data, right? Unemployment was like this. Under TINUBU, within a year, it has come down to 4.3%. Wow. So did they create new jobs? Did they create like tens of millions of jobs? No, they didn't. Or maybe not in that way. Because they did create jobs, right? They call them data boys on social media who have turned themselves to tax experts, patriotic Nigerians, lovers of data contraption, where they help them to spread lies that doesn't really reflect the reality. So TINUBU and his gang told themselves that they are doing so well. The states are getting more money. Local governments are getting more money. What else do you want? We did explain to people and said, your devalued Naira, right? Now that is now so much like this. It's so valueless, right? That you can see through the TINUBU-nomic. We don't care about whatever Trump says. People said, hey, careful. Don't say you don't care about what Trump says. But he did say it. Only for them to come back now to start telling us something else. And I will share that with you. First, when Kolu, the economy is turning the corner. We don't care about Trump.
If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side.
The economy is, Kolu. That was another one, right? This one.
Don't worry about that. Yes, we know we have the challenge of inflation. It's okay. We will bring it down. We are re-engineering. Our revenue is getting better. And we are taking our sovereignty and respect back around the world. Not that we have to go there and hire them to do the job for us. We are doing it ourselves. Whatever is happening to us, we have to solve it by ourselves.
Nuisance, Lily.
I mean, give it to him, right? He's got his audience. There are those who are very much there to clap for him and say, wow, he's a genius. But they all know themselves that they're lying to themselves. Contractors are not paid, especially the local ones. But the foreign contractors, those ones who are doing all those big projects, right? They are getting paid. They haven't protested yet. But those who are the local contractors, those who are in Nigeria, have been protesting and they've not been paid. They've been tear-gassed. Tear-gassing. That's a contraption. They have been printing money. I'll keep reminding you of that. The only time that Kolu and his gang, sort of like maybe they were just trying to consolidate power then, okay? Early in his government, see, Bokwari printed 27.5 trillion naira. In a year, TINUBU and Cardoso, they printed over 22 trillion naira. But some of you probably will never remember that. How did they do it? TINUBU and the Cardoso, they put together scammers. So TINUBU, I mean, so the Bukwari printed in 8 years, it printed 27.5 trillion naira. So that money was declared as a debt that the federal government of Nigeria owed the Central Bank of Nigeria. Bukwari was the first to break the law. They said the law of Nigeria says if Nigeria's budget has, let's say, 5%. Oh, hang on, let me rephrase. The Constitution of Nigeria says the Central Bank of Nigeria can give 5% worth of the total budget if Nigeria is running a deficit, but with a promise. Let's say Nigeria want to spend 100 naira in 2025, and they know that they are going to generate 80 naira from taxes. So you get, or let's say they are going to generate 80 naira by June. For example, by June 2025, this is like 2024 now, right? By June 2025, we are going to generate, we expect to generate 80 naira. That's going to be like 80% of our budget that we want to spend. But we need extra 20% to balance it so that we can deliver our budget. So the Central Bank of Nigeria can say, how much is the total budget? 100 naira. How much is the 5% of that budget? So the 5% of 100 naira will be like 5 naira. The Central Bank of Nigeria will now say, okay, we'll give you 4 naira. And you're going to give us 4 naira 50 kobo bako. Here you get, that's the role of Central Bank in budget. Yeah? Between 1970, Nigeria, between 1970 and 2015, the Central Bank of Nigeria loaned a total of 800 million naira to the central government of Nigeria. It was less than 1 billion naira. Between 2015 and 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria under Emefiele printed a total of 27.5 trillion naira, which at the rate that time was $51 billion. That's the conversion. That was the total money given to the government of Bukwari that nobody can tell you what they use the money for. Nobody can. They use this money to construct this road, or they use this money to construct this hospital. No, nobody could say. So they broke laws. When TINUBU came in to pave way for his own printing of money, you know what he did? He told Cardoso, I mean, Cardoso tell us, say, we will securitize Bukwari's loan because Nigeria was supposed to pay back about 30 trillion naira. That's how much Nigeria was supposed to pay back to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Forget the fact that they flooded God knows where this money actually went to, but they flooded the whole economy with this surplus of cash with no production, no nothing. The money is not a profit from anything. It is purely printed. It's like just printing paper in your printer at home and start sending and say, print me 1 million copies. And the printer continued to print you 1 million and all of that. That's how they were printing the money. It didn't come from anything. And it just disappeared like that. So TINUBU now said they should securitize it and say the money will be paid back to Central Bank of Nigeria for the next 100 years. I don't know if you all know that anyway. Do you know that? That's what they did with Bukwari's 27.5 trillion naira. Yeah, securitize it. It will now be a future loan. So you get that the Central Bank of Nigeria can start deducting it. But it will be like in the next 100 years. What did they tell the press? They said TINUBU has paid off the 30 trillion naira printed by Bukwari. Maybe you're one of those who said it. Or probably help them spread the nonsense, right? But what they were doing then is to create the room for TINUBU's new money printing. So you get, to be able to be factored into their economy, in their voodoo economy. Voodoo. Nigeria's debt jumped from what they claimed 108 billion US dollars to what is now over 200 billion dollars. But they denied it. They are denying it. They are saying, give us evidence. Guess what? All the money they claim to be generating, that they are now giving to the states. Local government is getting more money. State is getting more money. Ask them to give you account of where did they get the money from. Usually before this TINUBU, you could go to the Ministry of Finance and go and read about their money, how the money came in. You could go to the central bank's website and you get to see how, even though they are stealing it, you could still see figures public since TINUBU came in. Not even the National Assembly of Nigeria have details of TINUBU's money they are generating, the one they are spending, which one is loan. All these figures are so shrewded enough that those who are supposed to actually question it, they have ended up as separate singers, defenders of it, or people who just want to blindside you or blindside you, blindside you. You see all these things I'm saying, right? There are things that will eventually come to light, like most are now saying that 95% of those who worked with Bukwari, they are supposed to be in jail. 95% of them. I didn't say it. Now, one of the TINUBU's camp said it. Sure, you get these so shrewd things that they are, including the cooking of their inflation, this and that doesn't match up with the supposed interest rates. Like you say, things are coming down, but it's not really like, So they called the minister or the ministers to come and tell people about this money, because the books we have here, they are not really correlating with what you made us believe. To start with, for you to understand this GBT very well, this fraud very well, the TINUBU-nomic. When TINUBU came in 2023, the 2023 budget was already signed into law by Bukwari, but they said because it wasn't TINUBU that wrote the budget or something, so they had to quickly prepare a supplementary budget for Kolu. In that supplementary budget, which was at the time, I think it was a 9.8 billion naira. No, trillion naira rather. Yeah, trillion. Between May 29, 2023 and December 2023, TINUBU's supplementary budget to balance what Bukwari left was 9.8, nearly 10 trillion naira. And the 10 trillion naira was coming from whatever they met that Bukwari left, as well as the short loans, quick loans provided them by IMF and World Bank at the time. So they now wrote their own budget of hope 2024, right? And everybody will feel like, okay, yeah, normally in Nigeria, there is a law that says once the year ends, all ministries, agencies, parastatals, call them, they must all rest back every penny that is left in their own accounts straight into, I don't know, PSA accounts, meaning every ministry. People have been convicted for sharing the money before the December 31st of a year. In case if you don't know, right? People have been convicted of sharing money that they were supposed to, the unfinished money for that year, that they were supposed to return back to the TSA account, but they shared it quickly. So you get on false, fake, sort of like projects. But when TINUBU and his gang came, TINUBU actually wrote National Assembly to give the supplementary budget of 2023 an extension to June 2024. While the same National Assembly approved 2024 budgets where TINUBU signed. So in 2024, two budgets were running. By the time they got to the middle of 2024, TINUBU again, by fiat or whatever, right, extended the lifespan of the supplementary budget of 2023, the budget of 2024, he expanded their lifespan to the end of 2024, meaning Nigeria will be running two budgets in a year. But that's not all. By the time they get to July 2024, the TINUBU that wrote 2024 budget himself this time, requested for another supplementary budget within that time, in case if you have forgotten. So by the end of 2024, Nigeria was operating 3 different budgets. But guess what? None of this record of these expenditures, what they spent, what they transferred, what they moved, is public. None of it is public. So in that regard, he gave room to his appointees to do whatever they want, change figure here, add that one there. You know, it was like a free for all. Everybody just take whatever. And that's what is happening in that contraption, in case if you don't know. By the end of 2024, he submitted 2025 budgets. And this is 2025, December 2025. Guess what? TINUBU is operating, and again, 2024 budget and 2025 budget in 2025. Now they are now telling us that the money they raised, they realized in 2025, they used the money to finish 2024 budget in 2025. Now, the same demo who wrote 2025 budget too, they now said, but the problem now is that their revenue target for 2025, they didn't meet it. No, I'm actually making it sound so understandable. You need to listen to them, all right? And tell me what you think. These are the characters in charge of economy of Nigeria. The ones that turned the Ojobagogo, Kolu, they turned him into a comic actor that is fooling those who want to be fooled. Millions of you in that contraption. You should listen to them. Because if I continue to break it down, you begin to kind of like understand that. Maybe, okay, yeah, listen to them.
So since 2025 budget has been enacted as a law, not until that is either amended or repealed. And when you say you are taking it over, we assume that you are taking exactly what is in the act to now create the next appropriation act. So we need that explanation. Then just take note, Honorable Minister.
Is what is making it impossible for you to implement the budget? Because Appropriation Act is a law related to each year, which you must comply with. Since you have the money, there's no request you have made to this Senate that has not been given to you, and we adopt as a rubber stamp. So what is your problem? Why are you rolling over budget of 2025 to 2026 instead of extension? 70%. Why are you rolling it over?
And there's nothing wrong, like you said, and I agree with you absolutely, that if you amount to waste, if you start a project and you pay 30% of that project, and in the next budget, that project is not captured, money already spent on it is as good as thrown away. So the logic of continuing, I understand. But the language of rollover, I do not. So I think I understand you to mean, and that should be the case, that never again should be implement more than one budget.
The issue of capital. Right now, funding is fully available for the 2024 capital budget that has been finalized and is in the gateway up to September. Funding is available for a portion, and the other portion, the plan is to roll it over to 2026 budget. Likewise, for the 2025 capital budget, funding has been made, warrants have been issued, and funding is available for 30% of that budget, with the plan, with the cooperation and the support of the National Assembly to roll over the 75%. When we look at borrowing, we have roughly 152 trillion naira outstanding. And that figure was about 70 trillion naira in 2023 or so. But what accounts for the difference? 30 trillion.